And we're back. I brought Khaki with me for just a moment so he can get some more spotlight. He's, I don't know if you can hear him purring. He purrs very loudly. Sounds like rattles. Sounds like a rattle shaking around inside of him. He was up there. I caught him climbing into my rice cooker to eat all of the like the starchy web that forms after you cook a pot of rice. He was in there eating that when I went upstairs. Because he's always causing mischief. Alright, but I think I will return him to the upstairs where he can wander and explore and get into more trouble freely. So excuse me just a moment, my friends, and then we will get on our way to Ironsword. Is that you farming? Oh, the BRB screen. Yeah, that's Farmer Frownie. Okay, so this game is really challenging, and we've got limited continues, so we're probably going to be going through the first couple levels a lot of times. Just want to make sure we're all prepared for what's about to happen. It looks like there are 5, maybe 6 levels. And the thing about this game, it's just like the first Wizards and Warriors. It's so difficult because you're constantly taking damage from everything at every moment. Like, even when I sit here swinging my sword, I'm still getting hit by every bird that comes into contact with me. I'm not able to take out a single enemy without losing health. Oh my goodness. I can raise my sword higher. Not that it really makes a difference. Not that anything I do makes a difference in this game. I believe it is possible to make this jump. I thought I was doing that before. I guess not. Look! Now I made that jump no problem. If I remember correctly, it's about as long as the first Wizards and Warriors game was. Okay. Please don't give me details about the game that I don't know, though. Like how many levels there are, that's the kind of thing I would like to stay a mystery to me. No, I might speculate about details of the game, but I don't actually like to be told them. That reminds me, I should probably make sure I put my first playthrough tag back on. There we are. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I would consider that kind of information a spoiler, but I mean, no worries. The helmet. So the armor, that's one thing I haven't really figured out what the armor does for me. I would assume that it makes me more durable against the enemies, but it doesn't really feel like it does. So, but I found a helmet and I found a shield, I think, are the armor that I found so far. Whoa. Oh, I need to get these magic pellets. There we go. Like, see, just like that, we haven't even made it out of the first level, and already our first continue is wasted. So, we're definitely not going to be beating the game on this attempt. You get 2 continues. So, like, you get 9 lives total. You can pick up extra lives if you know where to find them. I'm trying to grab one. I was trying to grab one, you know, as I was beginning this thought. Right up there. Right up there. Now I'm too far away, I think. Yeah, I gotta go all the way up and around. Pookie Stan says, I used to rent games from this series all the time. So this is the second game in the series, and it's the second one I've played. I've played Wizards and Warriors. Wizards and Warriors I had considerably more fun with. I think Ironsword, I think I would say this was the better game if it didn't have limited continues. But it would still be so close because they're such similar games. They didn't really improve anything for Ironsword. Actually, they made the game worse because they limited your continues. And, you know, that alone wouldn't be terrible if they had fixed, you know, even one of the 8,000 problems the original Wizards and Warriors had. But they fixed nothing. All they did was make the game worse by taking away your continues. So as it stands, even without having finished this game, I've got to say, Wizards and Warriors, if you're going to play one, you got to play Wizards and Warriors, because it will frustrate you a lot less. The thing that's super aggravating about these games is that there's no point in trying to fight any enemies because you can't hurt an enemy without being hurt yourself, so you're better off just running through everything. Your attack is just too pathetic. Pick up the screw, and we're out of that level. This is such a quirky one. I think someone mentioned last time that this game would look much more at home on an 8, maybe 16-bit microcomputer of the 80s. I don't know where it... I don't know if it was originally... I don't know where it originated. If it's an NES game originally, or if it was ported to the NES. And did you look at the box art? I did not. I'm going to pull up a picture of it right now. If it's different, I'll see if it's different from the game art. Ironsword, NES, box art. I mean, yeah, from what I'm seeing, it looks the same as the image on the cover, or on the sticker on the cartridge. I mean, it just looks like, to me, it just looks like generic fantasy, art. It's got sort of a barbarian guy with a sword on the cover, which doesn't really make sense since, I mean, in the game you don't play as like a barbarian style warrior. You've got like a medieval suit of armor, so I don't really know. Like, the artwork just seems like generic fantasy artwork. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with the game. Okay, we want to buy some keys. I don't remember how many I need to buy, but let's hope it's 2. Just find it funny because you want to know who that is. Is it Fabio? I mean, if you need a model for some fantasy artwork, like, I think he was the guy to go to. I mean, I don't know what he looks like now, but he's been around a while, right? I imagine he would be playing more wizards and fewer warriors nowadays. Do you feel as though you are playing as Fabio? No, I feel like I'm playing as something more akin to Earthworm Jim. Because look what happens when I go inside. Look at my head. I've got this tiny little head with these giant eyes. Water spout spell. So last time I was having a lot of trouble with this water spout spell. It seems to leave your pocket for no discernible reason. Okay. Ooh, secret cave with not 1 but 2 keys. Oh yeah. I forgot about this cave. I'm glad we stumbled across it again. I remember the ending of this level being very tricky. There we go. See, look, you don't have any spells. My water spout spell stolen from me for no reason. I can't stand this game. What a nasty, mean game this is. You have found the water spout spell. Once again, pay attention. We found it. We're not going to use it, but it's going to go away anyways. Over here? Oh, well. Never mind. It proved me wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. That's definitely Fabio's head. I just didn't recognize him without the luscious, flowing mane of hair. Alright, down we go. Might be able to get another key on our way down. Might be able to get a life if we're really lucky. I don't remember if there was a life down here or not. I don't want that chest. That will rob me of my remaining key. Pick up that tankard. Oop, there's a key. Don't mind if I do. Thank you for that. I wandered around this level for a good long time before I found this passageway. This is mandatory. Each stage has an elemental boss, and you have to find the elemental power hidden in the stage to even damage the boss. Remember what's in here. Coins. Coins are okay, but not particularly special. Is there anything better in here? Nope. Oh! Friend Souls, welcome in. Happy to have you here. Is this Ironsword 2? This is Wizards and Warriors 2, Ironsword. If that's what you mean. If there's an Ironsword, if there's an Ironsword 2, I haven't come across it yet. Yeah, okay. I didn't know if it was one of those situations where the game series changed its name, because that happens sometimes. My stomach is not liking me after I attempted to eat more healthy today. That's not fair or polite. Maybe it's detox, Pookie Stan. Suffer through it and you'll be okay when you get to the other end. Uh-oh. My magic meter was completely empty. Why did I think I could attack the boss? Oh. I've got to attack the fish with jumps so that I don't waste my magic as soon as I earn it. Actually, I think there's somewhere you can stand for a magic refill out here. So let me see if I can find that spot again. It's probably further to the left. So, I've played through the, there it is, right there. I've played through the original Wizards and Warriors on the NES on stream already. And this is my first playthrough of Ironsword. I have spent one night on this game already. For about 2 hours or so, 3 hours, I don't remember exactly. We made it to level 4 the last time I played. But there's much about this game I haven't figured out yet. This took me a while to beat as a kid. Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to beat as an adult, I can tell. If it weren't for the limited continues, I'd be okay. It's one of the worst things in gaming, when the developers think they have the right to tell me how many quarters are in my pocket. It's just so rude. Oh, can't open that chest, so not going to worry about that. I think there's an arcade version too. That wouldn't surprise me. I haven't really done any research. I did look through the instruction manual, but that was it. I don't know what's more boring, limited continues or unlimited with no penalty, meaning you just keep playing where you died, so it's impossible to lose. Yeah. So that's what the first Wizards and Warriors has. It has unlimited continues with no penalty. But I don't... See, the thing is, I would be fine with the limited continues in this game if they fixed anything else about it. But it's such a broken, terrible mess of a game that it really needs to have unlimited continues. This is not the kind of game that you beat for the challenge and fun of beating the game. This is the kind of game you beat for the curiosity of just seeing what's in the game. There could be like there's a good game inside these. But unfortunately, it's buried under way too much nonsense. So I desperately need a key. I might even be trapped at this point. The game might be uncompletable. Unless there's a store. Oh, there's a store. Okay, never mind. I take it back. Take it all back. I overlooked the store. My fault. Helmet upgrade. I forgot about that, but I'm glad I bought the extra key. I like the upgraded helmet. Not that it seems to do anything of value for me. I just like it because it's got the horns on it. It's a stylistic upgrade. Artificial difficulty through scarcity like that. NES games impose a lot of times is really pretty blah. There's a reason I gravitated to RPGs, a game with dozens of hours of content and never having to restart. Yeah, I'm not big into RPGs yet myself. I'd like to play more, but haven't done it yet. This game is an oddity in that you can play through several times and have no idea where anything is because the level design is so random and vague. It's like once you're done recalling what you did after 2 days, it's like thinking back to a fever dream. Yeah, I get that. A game like this, I game over and I'm like, well, I'm not doing all that over again. Guess I'll play Duck Hunt. I mean, I would agree with you in the case of a game like this, but most of my favorite games are games where you get penalized by being sent back to the start. But there's a difference. You see, there's a difference between with a game like this. Everything feels so just arbitrary that I don't feel like there's any way to avoid damage in this game. So when I die, I never feel like it's my fault. You know, something like Journey to Silius, like that game was really hard. It had limited continues, but the game was learnable. So I didn't really care that I got sent back to the start in that game. This game is not really learnable. I mean, there are things you can learn about it. Like you can design paths and stuff like that to you know, try to optimize your run through the game. But basically, you're just trying to minimize your time between goals because your health is running down on a constant timer. Because enemies are constantly attacking you, and there's nothing to be done about them. You don't have the ability to take them out. Doesn't matter what we put in. Your friendly neighborhood dragon that gives you game hints. Yeah, so we've been through all of that. Here we are back at the start. But like with this attack, there's really no way to reliably attack these birds without taking damage yourself. It's like when you and an enemy come in contact with each other, the game just flips a coin to decide which of you attacked the other. I don't feel like I want to actually open that chest. I was looking because I thought... There it is. I was going to say, I thought there was a key over here. And there was. Oh, our first life is almost gone. There it goes. The bird strikes me as having some crazy good detailed animation for an NES game. Even the little birds. Alright, secret room. Interesting. Alright. Full magic meter? That's nothing to complain about. Let's see if I can remember where that is. That might be useful in the future. Oh, I'm not where I thought I was. No. I should be resetting the game right now. If we lose a continue on the first level, I really shouldn't continue playing. Because it's very unlikely that we're going to do anything worthwhile after that. There are, like I was saying, there's a good game hidden inside of these. Like, there are so many things that, like, I really want to like about these games. Like, I like wandering around and finding items and solving puzzles. It's pretty fun. We find the missing object for the characters in the stage, and sometimes it's a puzzle to figure out how to get them. And, like, these are good things. Like playing as a knight and finding elemental weapons to fight monsters. I really hate the way the game controls, and I hate how incapable our character is of doing anything of value. And you know what? If we had a projectile weapon full time, I think that would solve a lot of the issues that I have with the game. Because when we have one of the spells and can fire at enemies, life is so much better. But look how much meat is scattered around in this level. There's meat everywhere because they knew the game was broken. You know, it's like, should we improve the combat and the hit detection? No, let's just put a whole bunch of health items everywhere and hope that no one notices how broken everything is. Again, forgot about this room, accidentally found it, couldn't be more happy about that. Whoever is responsible for the water spout disappearing like that in this game, like having to go recollect this spell over and over again, I hope that person gets a rash on their elbow. Oh no, I think I went too far to the left. Oh no, we're good. I don't remember there being so many of these face enemies in here the last time we played. They're everywhere now. I think I should have skipped the Silver Fleece, because I think it goes away at the next level. And it's just a waste of a key if that's the case. Got the brick. Okay, stage 3. Don't have any keys. That's not good. Let's hop around a little bit more than we did before and maybe see. There's got to be an invisible door around here, right? See, I don't know why this blue guy is invincible, but we hit him 3 times and nothing. Oh no. When I jump into enemies like that, yes, that is an attack. I am hitting the enemy. The game, you know, the game arbitrarily doesn't count it as hitting the enemy, but it should be counted as hitting the enemy. This is almost certainly a game that is beyond my ability to finish. Okay, there's the boss. Can't actually fight the boss because I have no magic. And now I'm dead. From the top. Sometimes it really just holds on these screens. Starlight Nomad, welcome in. Happy to see you. The wishes of good luck are very necessary because it's only luck. Luck is the only thing that could ever get me through this game. There is no skill. Everything about this game is random. We just have to hope for perfect RNG for an entire run. This is Wizards and Warriors 2 Ironsword. It definitely looks brutal. It is, believe me, it is way harder than it looks. And that is taking into account that it looks impossible. It's harder than impossible. It's almost the exact same game as the first Wizards and Warriors. They changed up a few minor things. The aesthetics a little bit more cartoony in this one, I think. And the levels have a bit more puzzle to them than the first one. And they had puzzle before, but well, they didn't really have puzzle before. They had collecting before. And the puzzles here are still very fine, like collecting, because it's find an object, but it's got the worst, most imprecise, unsatisfying combat of any game that I can think of. And this game is 1,000 times worse than Wizards and Warriors 1 because it limits your continues. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend playing this game. It's possible if you have a lot of time and patience. I don't know. I don't know. I do have a considerable amount of time and patience. Whether it will be enough, I remain skeptical. Oh, I hate slipping down slopes. I hate having my spells taken away. This game is garbage. Everyone who worked on this game is a bad person. Harder than it looks, harder than impossible. Coming from an SG and G main, holy cow, what an admonishment. It's such a... See, the thing is, Super Ghouls and Ghosts is hard, but it's not broken. This is such a broken game. Or such an unfinished game. Nothing works the way it should. Alright, cleared that out. That's all I think that's all nope. That's not all I want. I want the shield. Hello, Squirrel. Welcome in. This is Ironsword. This is Wizards and Warriors 2. I'm having an indescribably tough time with this game. It's just coins in here. Don't care about coins. Well, the character design is really cool, though. That frog looked all kinds of toady. Yeah, I love the aesthetics of this game, and I love the basic ideas like of it. Like the way the levels and progression works, I think is fantastic. I hate every enemy. The combat is just terrible. I only played the first one. I remember really liking its soundtrack, but it also had a lot of bad control. Yeah, that. I mean, that's a pretty fair description of this one too. No, don't go back out the door. Stop going out the door. I need you to be away from the ledge. I was actually trying to like climb and move through the level carefully and thoughtfully, and it didn't really get me anywhere. Now did it? Uh, no. Alright, so I have to open a chest, but I have no keys. I don't remember where to go looking for a key. I know I've had to find one in this level before. There's one. I missed it. Oh, that was real fun. Okay. Oh, thought that was a door. probably toast. So I'm looking around for something that will refill my magic and or like a cave that might have an extra life in it. Like that's what I'm hoping to stumble across, and so far. Alright, we got some magic. I actually got the reverse of an extra life. And most of the magic I wasn't able to pick up because of it. And it doesn't come back, so... disgusting. Why did those miss? Especially the second one. I know that why that one missed. The corner of your mouth is still your mouth. I will not accept any other. Argument. Terrible. Terrible. I can't land an egg. I can't land an egg for the world. Now I'm out of magic. Ugh. This game is upsetting. The purple guys, I don't believe the purple guys are capable of dropping magic. So I can't farm magic from them. I just got to run around and hope there's another invisible spot where magic generates. I don't know what was in there. Extra life is nice. Not really gonna complain about that. Oh, I need magic, and there's just nowhere to get it. The spots that generate magic for you don't replenish, even after a game over. So, I think, like, we're basically just doomed. We don't have the resources to beat the boss. I got one little piece of magic from somewhere. I'm not sure where. Purple guys can give you magic. Alright, I take it back. Oh. But great, look whose health is completely regenerated. The magic stays, the magic refill spots stay empty, but the boss's health meter grows back, of course. This game is garbage. Everything is bad about this game. I don't even like the things I like about it anymore. I think that fight is, inspired by Return to Oz. Where they defeat the enemy by tricking him into, eating an egg. Yeah, that's, yeah. I'm not the first one to think that either. I do have to say, if we don't make it through this game tonight, and I really don't think we will, I'm gonna keep going at it for a long time yet, but I don't think we're going to beat it, and I don't think I'm going to come back to this game after tonight. I think I'm gonna be done with this one for a good long while. I feel like I've already put more time into this game than the developers did. If I had any confidence that anyone who worked on this game cared about what they were doing, I would be more motivated to continue. ECW next, not a chance, Mile High Roll. You're always welcome to nominate it back onto the Plinko board if that's how you want to spend your channel points. After I play all the other wrestling games, you're gonna loop back around. Fair enough. Hey, maybe you'll actually find one that I feel motivated to play more than one session of. You never know. I wouldn't say that it's likely, but could happen. I don't think so. I don't really think so either, but you never know. If only I had an attack that didn't require me to take damage to use it. Are there many good wrestling games? I mean, if you like wrestling, maybe. The whole genre is at a disadvantage for me because it's not something I've ever been into. So, I don't know what's going on when I play a wrestling game. It's just a couple hours of mashing buttons. Kind of like this game. Who knows, you might... lots of good ones, just not for Frownie. I like pro wrestling for the NES, but I don't know if it will hold up. I've played through that game before. That's the one with the "A winner is you" text, I believe, at the end. So there you go. Yeah, pro wrestling on the NES, Mile High Rule. There's a wrestling game that I have voluntarily played all the way through. It's happened before. It could happen again. Who knows, you might become a huge wrestling fan by the end of it. You think there are many people who got into wrestling because they played the games first? Like, they had no idea, like, what a wrestler even was, and then they played one of the games and fell in love with it, and then it became, like, their favorite thing in life. Sure, there's someone. Yeah, I mean, I imagine you're right. Such a person must exist. I wonder how different someone's impression of like the Super Mario franchise is if they start with the movie, and that's, you know, like for years that's their first and only exposure to the world of Super Mario. I wonder how that person then feels about the games when they finally come across them at some point. It would depend on which movie they caught. I mean, I'm talking about the '93, the live-action film. The only movie that matters. Well, I mean, that was a parody, not an official movie. Although it kind of became official because Nintendo bought the rights to it, from what I understand. That might just be an urban legend. That part might not actually be true. But that's what I've heard, is that Nintendo bought the distribution rights and then just didn't distribute it. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to Google it because I want it to be true. I'm fairly confident that's the case. I need to fill up on magic. I can't find the spot that refills my magic. Everything was going fine. Everything was going really well in this run. But now I can't get any magic. Oh. Wonderful. What happened to all my life? This game is just disgustingly terrible. Everything about this game is terrible. What kind of empty-headed fool would voluntarily choose to play this game? All right. What? RZTRTH. The game is unpausing itself so that I cannot write down the password. I hate this game. RZTRTHDJGKNL. I've never had this problem in a game before, where it unpauses itself. Here's me not hitting any buttons. And it unpauses itself, so you can't write the password down. What a cool feature. I thought you would like that, Mile High Roll. The ghosts in this game are amazing. I know that whenever, like, the artists who designed the ghosts for this game, whenever they turned in their design, I know that their supervisor was like, you can't be serious. This is your best effort." And their response was, "No one's gonna play this game that long anyway. No one will see it. Who cares?" And the supervisor's like, "Yeah, you're right." And they went with it. Wonder if the background art could work like a stereogram? Well, we've got a password now that gives us 2 lives on the last level instead of 1, so we have obtained something of dubious value. Oh, Loyal, thank you for the pepper. I don't have super spicy peppers currently. They're a little spicy. What I've got for the moment is a jar of pickled hot chilies. Which this jar is considerably considerably less full than it was last night on the stream, and that may be because after the raid I sat here munching on them for a while. Okay. They're not very hot, and they're kind of small, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to eat 2 at a time. They're good on burgers. I like their flavor. You like them on hot dogs. I wouldn't put them on anything myself because I'm a crazy person who likes his food mostly very plain, but I will eat them by themselves. They're all right. They're all right. I like how abrasive they are. I do wonder if I could get my hands on like pickled serranos. Like, I wish the same brand made like lots of different like levels of spice. I guess I could buy some serranos and pickle them myself. Maybe that's what I should do. Okay. Onward we move. Mr. H2O Man, thank you for the follow. Very kind of you. I appreciate it, especially since I feel like I'm definitely not at my best. This game is not a super great time. RZ T R T H D J G K N L. Oh. Oh yeah, I forgot. When you use a password, it puts you in some weird spot in the level. Oh, here's something else about this game. When you show up at the store with no money, the guy grabs you by your neck and throws you out. What a jerk. He, like, it's so weird. He knows my pockets are empty. I guess he's mad at me for wasting his time. But, like, he doesn't even let me look. He doesn't even let me look at his menu so I would know, like, how much money I need. He just throws me out. So, like, I don't know I don't know what amount of money to come back with. Oh, cool. The ghost is invincible. Oh, and it immediately eliminates all of your life. Let me see what's going on here. Hey, we've got a high emote. What retro game is this from? The game I'm playing? This is Ironsword on the NES. Wizards and Warriors 2. I played the original Wizards and Warriors, and we played all the way through it. And despite its clunkiness, I had a pretty good time because it was really lenient with its continues. This game has all of the same problems as the original Wizards and Warriors, but it's an awful time because its continues are super limited to the point of uselessness. Is there any game after this one tonight? We're gonna play a little bit of Doom when I finish up with this. We're gonna see if we can finish the level I was on in Doom 64. A level or two of that. I'm gonna stick with this for a while longer though. I don't know. I've just got to wait for this ghost to despawn. There's no way to fight the ghost. The ghost has already proven itself to be completely invincible. I jump over it? Yeah, okay. I struggle with Doom basically the same amount that I struggle with this game, but I have a lot more fun with Doom because it's well designed and fair. This game is neither. And I would be happy if it had either of those qualities. If it were fair, or if it were well designed. Because, see, that's the thing about Wizards and Warriors, is the game is completely broken. But at least it's fair. They knew you had no chance of succeeding, so they didn't put any challenge in the game. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, in this cave, the health items hurt you. And I don't think I ever learned where the elemental power is. Drop my controller. I was taking down that other password. Alright, well the spot on the right here is a death trap. I need to remember this. If you fall in here on the right, there's no way to come back out. ZNT RW H B L G M T D. At WHBL, I read that as an abbreviation for wheelbarrow in my brain. Oh, I forgot the meat is deadly. I've already complained about it once and forgotten about it. Slumber spell. Terrible. Don't need that. That pause thing would be something they would have to program in. And I'm asking myself, why? I mean, for the same reason they limited the continues. They're like, let's torture them. Let's make the game as unreasonable as possible. Nope. I didn't want that meat. There's so much money here in this part of the game. Because they know that you need a billion keys. To trial and error your way through all these chests. If you're looking to see if I have more Wizards and Warriors games, Mile Hyrule, don't worry. After this one will be released forever. Treasure. I didn't figure it was going to be the first chest in the room, but if I didn't check it, I would feel silly later, I'm sure. Oops. Oh. I knew that wasn't it. There's nothing really else I can do. So this is basically the exact same situation we ended up in last time we played this. Stuck in this same room. This is as far as I've made it, is this room. That's actually not entirely true. We did see the boss. The boss is like a wall monster. So I did find the weapon and face the boss one time. Terrible. If we land on that treasure, we have to go all the way back up to buy another key. If there was a way to avoid that meat, I did not see it. Oh, I should buy another key while I'm in the neighborhood. No! And it wasn't enough for another key. Oh, yuck. That's it. All right, we know where the power is now. This is where we'll fight the boss. Another Gnome King clone. Immediately turned me to powder. So the last time when we were stuck in this room, like I just mentioned, we had only one life. This time we've got two, so there's an ever so slim chance we could make it through this level and then see the next one. We won't be able to beat it, because beating a level in this game with 1 life is impossible. But we'll at least get to maybe see it. I think it's 15K to nominate a game to the board, Mile High Roll. I did no damage. Oh, there we go. What? Why is it not damaging him anymore? I don't understand this game. Everything about this game is terrible. I think it's 15K for nominations and 25K to force a game on top of that. Why am I unable to damage this boss? I was able to damage him before. I don't understand what I'm doing differently. What an awful time this game is. I'm pretty sure no one who worked on this is still alive, because they all died of embarrassment. If you use the password too many times, the game becomes unbeatable. The game was already unbeatable, Mile High Roll. If you use the password -1 times, the game becomes unbeatable. That's how many is too many. Time release. Welcome to the stream. Pleasure to have you here. And I appreciate the follow when I'm so deep in despair. I'm having real trouble figuring out what I did differently the one time that I was able to damage the boss. See, there it goes. I damaged him. Why did that damage him? I have to be standing like the perfect pixel in front of him to cause damage? Oh, I see. I gotta hit him in a very weird particular spot. It might actually be easier if I stand back and try it. Okay. Okay. I'm a little smarter than I was a second ago. We're getting close to memorization on the password. We're real close to having that one memorized. My health is in a terrible situation. I walk up to this boss and immediately collapse. Basically. Alright. Gonna try and fight him from a standing back position? Nope, bad idea. Well, thanks for all the no magic. Really appreciate that, game. Ugh. Well, we're not beating it this time. I've already lost the life. Oh, and wasted some magic. Yeah, this is all just a matter of luck. We just have to wait until we get the right luck. If I make it down to the very bottom and I still have the other life in my pocket, I will try to look for a magic refill, but I don't think there's going to be one. Yeah, I've got the password memorized now. Nope. I mean, I appreciate the cheers, Loyal, but I'm really without hope. Oh, that says GG. I thought it said go. This is bad. You got this. Do I? I appreciate your faith, Waterman. We were so close. We were so close. Oops. I know. It was like, isn't there a Rocky movie where they knock each other out at the end? It was like that. We both had no health. But only my no health counted. Okay. So I'm actually going to spend the first life just trying to build up magic. I'm not even going to attack because he'll just get his health back when I die anyway. But I think I'll keep the magic between lives. You know, provided the game gives me some. It's given me so little. It gave me next to no magic. How disgusting. Come on, this has to be it. Give me that. You have assembled the Ironsword. Oh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How in the world did we make it this far? NXTRKWNZNBDM. Sure be nice if the game let me write the password in peace, wouldn't it? Alright, we're at the end of the game with no lives and no continues. And currently no health, though we will get some health back with the password. We're in a new level, which I need to search all around for. I need to look everywhere to find some extra lives, if they exist. Which is doubtful. Ironsword is looks like just the kind of blade we've needed this whole game. Wonder if that meat hurts me. I don't expect it does. I think that was a one level trick. Yeah. Okay, there's a chest. What's the chest have? Asp's tongue. That's hard to say. Oh, it's so thrilling to be seeing something new. And to not be surrounded by enemies that are just taking every inch of my life, every second that I exist. I don't even feel like I'm playing the same game right now. Cows, welcome in. How goes it? It goes rough tonight, cows. It's great to see you. We've been trying our best. I've had some fine people here cheering me on while I've been in despair, struggling and suffering with Ironsword. We are on a new level in Ironsword. Unbelievably. We have no continues and no lives left, but we are on a new level. Did you see what I just saw? I saw all 4 of the bosses we've already defeated lined up in a row. We have to, on 1 life, do a boss rush. Oh. No continues or no lives is rough. It is super rough. I had the password for the previous stage memorized. I'd entered it enough times. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen again. I'm going to try and save this key. By jumping around this chest that's up here. I've already looked around all of these areas for invisible rooms, hoping to find some lives. I don't think that any more invisible rooms exist. Not a single vowel in that password? Are there any vowels on the board even? Because I'm looking at my passwords. I've got three different passwords written down. There's not a single vowel in any of them. So even if there are vowels on the board, they might all be fake. Diamond shield. How am I ever going to have enough money for that? This guy must be joking. I'll go ahead and buy the keys, though. Well, don't let the Ironsword fool you. It remains just as useless as ever. Seven League Boots. It's not a spell. It's an item. Oh, am I jumping better? I might be. I cannot find that spot to jump to for the life of me. Why'd they have to put it off screen? Ugh. I need to find an extra life somewhere, anywhere. I didn't check for that. I just assumed a full alphabet. Maybe it's less impressive. No, you're right. There are vowels, but so far none of them have appeared in any of my passwords. None that I've written down tonight, anyway. I, of course, haven't paid attention to every password. Okay, run around, get those boots. Okay, found another key. Interesting. Can't make this jump. Not very interesting. Oh, I feel like Sonic. I'm getting stuck in a place bouncing back and forth. Like I'm trapped between springs. Guess we'll just prioritize height, because I don't even really know that there are invisible rooms in this part of the game. Oh, we're not getting any higher than this. I should see if there's a different password at the top of this climb, because this, there's really no point in repeating this 1,000 times if we can just skip it by putting in a different password. Well, I guess we will lose money and keys if we do that, making the boots harder to get, so maybe we do need to repeat this every time. Yeah, because if another password does start us up at the top, it'll start us with our pockets empty, so that won't do us any good. Why can't this guy sell me extra lives? Why can't this game have unlimited continues? This game just doesn't want to do anything to help me like it. I avoided making another leap because I saw that there was a fire there, and then it didn't matter because it grew a fire. It grew a fire on the place where I was already standing. So many worthless keys. I can get a different password if I write quickly enough. And now I should already have the jumping boots. I'll lose all my keys, but... I'm desperate. No vowels this time either. There's no guarantee that it actually starts me in the place where I got the password, though. So this might be all for nothing. Hey, we're still here? Hey, let me keep my keys, too. I can't believe that. What game is this? Now just give me an extra life. Give me an extra life, you cruel demon of a game. I've never been so sad to see treasure in my life. I've never gotten an extra life from a chest, so I didn't really expect it. Didn't really expect it, but still hurts. Nice, row of magic. We need to remember that, probably. What's this? Oh. Okay, seems to be a run from the snowman situation. I don't know. I don't know if I have to fight this guy or not. I don't even know if all the different ones that are popping up are the same guy. as I feared. It is the ghosts of all the bosses we've previously fought. All at once. This is an unwinnable situation. It's not a boss rush, it's actually worse. It's a 4-on-1 death match. And I'm the one doing all the dying. How could they think this was acceptable? To make you do all of this with no extra lives? I'm not even asking for a continue now. I've got a password. Give me an extra life. I never beat all 4 of those bosses either. How could you? How could anyone? Thanks for depleting all of my health. I didn't even get a chance. I didn't even get a chance. Tonight is a bad night. No. I don't believe you, Greg. No one's ever beaten this game before. Why would anyone ever play this? Why would I do this to myself? This is no way to live. If only we had an extra life. I feel just so completely helpless. I feel like I would trade an eye to have an extra life right about now. I don't know, Frownie, you tell us. Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm my own worst enemy. I'm having a harder time memorizing this password for whatever reason. This hall of bats immediately stealing my health. Will you stop pushing me around, man? What time is it? I'm gonna try this for like another 10 minutes, and then we're gonna move on to Doom. I don't think there's any way to do this. It was this close to beating one of them. Beating one of them is going to have to be satisfactory, too, because that's as close as we're going to get. I think it may, if I get very, very lucky, it may be within my ability to beat one of them. I really don't like when they just bounce me around into the sky like that. If only this were like Mega Man and enemies would drop lives on occasion, could stay here and farm lives, but I don't think that's possible in this game. Can't go back through that door. I can't imagine what could possibly be after this, too. Ugh. Because I don't think these are going to be the final boss of the game. Alright, let's go back to exploring a whole bunch. Let's just make sure we stand on every platform and see that there's nothing out here. It would have been nice to pick up that magic, but nope. Instead, I'll just be jostled around. Hang on, was this the one where the enemies live? No. Is there anything up here? No. Ah. I was just seeing if there was any point at which I would grind up an extra life through the points. Looks like no. You know, one of the things I love is when you're making eggs and you crack an egg open, and then you find out there are 2 yolks inside. It's like, oh, that's going to be an extra delicious egg. I hope the people who made this game never have that experience. Not even close. Not even close. All right, next attempt that makes it over there to those bosses, that's going to be our last attempt. You know, if I die in the cave because I get hit by one bat and lose 100% of my health, then we'll give it another attempt. But this is going to be it. What did I tell you? You thought I was joking. This game is terrible. I wanna push this game down my garbage disposal. So enjoying it then, Frownie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Sparrow. I'm having a blast. So after the raid, Sparrow, I don't know how long you stayed. I ended up falling asleep during the stream. Swiss knee. Were you there when they were playing Toys R Us commercials? They were talking about a song from a Toys R Us commercial, and they started playing it. wasn't up getting a phone call. That sounds like it was going to be fun. Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know. Because I wasn't actually watching the stream when that happened. I'd already fallen asleep. But I was still hearing the stream in my dreams. And that song got stuck in my head in my dream. And then I woke up, like, however many hours later. And that song had just been, like, burning into my brain all night. And I know it was from the stream because after I woke up, I rewound the VOD, and I found the part where they were listening to it and talking about it. Weird dreams about giraffes. I don't remember what the context, like, it implanted itself to in my dream was, but I just know the song was, like, happening again and again and again in my dream. It was pretty wild. Alright, I'm done with this game for the night. I might be done with this game for forever. I can't imagine the disrespect I would have to have for myself to play this again. This game is not fun. This game is broken and cruel. Greg says, I wonder if people who made this game over 3 decades ago went on to make any other games since then. A good game or two, perhaps. Nope. Never once. I don't know, you played several times. The disrespect, yep. By the way, I've had that myself and falling asleep with YouTube on, for example. Yeah, I remember there was one time where I fell asleep. I got up really early one morning, and I made my sister breakfast, and then I fell asleep on the couch while she was watching Barney the Dinosaur, and I dreamed that I was on the show. Oh, you played E.T. several times. Yeah, I prefer E.T. to this game. I prefer E.T. to this game. Somewhere Hooked on Pot has just frozen in place and said, I felt a great disturbance in the force. Oh, that is class. Preferring E.T. is a big statement. I may be exaggerating my feelings. I don't know. It's really a close call. It's really a close call because this game is so unpleasant. Oh. I need to play some games I'm good at, or some games I like. I've been through a lot these past couple days. Mission Impossible and the Contra challenges, and Doom and Ironsword. Oh, I've been having a rough time with this schedule. Don't say rash things in the heat of the moment. When have I ever been known to do that, cows? Did you ever have sleep paralysis, though, or is it just outside sounds integrating into your dreams? I've had both. Yeah, I've had sleep paralysis before, or maybe not sleep paralysis. I don't know, because when I think of sleep paralysis, it's usually described to me as like someone wakes up and they can't move. and like they see maybe see visions, but like they are conscious of being in their bedroom in their bed. At least that's the way I've understood. I've interpreted it when it was described to me. I've had situations where I've been in a dream and I know I'm dreaming and I can feel my awake body like unable to move, and like I try to wake myself up and or try to open my eyes and I can't do it. Like I'll be trapped in a nightmare and I'll know it's a nightmare, and so I try to wake myself up and I can feel like my face straining as I try to open my eyes, but all it really does is but all it does is just make my vision black out in my dream. So whatever monster I'm running away from has an extra advantage. I'm probably describing that very poorly. Vansky, welcome to the stream. Thank you for the wishes of good luck, but I'm finished with this game. We're going to switch over to Doom 64. I'm just chin-wagging for a few moments. Cal says, I've had that too in nightmares. I was thinking about you, Vansky. I saw a video about a new trick in Mario Kart 64 in the desert level, where like you can drive into the side of the mountain right near the start. I was wondering if you had mastered that trick. Oh yeah, the Tenko? Is that what it's called? I don't think I've heard that name. Not hit the trick yet, close though. I'm sure you'll get it. Excuse me. It didn't look like a trick I would ever be able to pull off. It looks simple, but hearing it explained, I know it's very, very much not. Got to 194 on the world record list, though. Congratulations. Congratulations, because you're speedrunning a game that is much more competitive than anything I would be brave enough to attempt. I fell asleep on the lounge while my mom was talking to my partner at the time. I heard the whole convo, but I was completely unable to move with my eyes closed. Struggling to open your eyes or move just doesn't seem to work. Only makes the panic worse until you wake up in a gasp. Yeah, that sounds about right, Sparrow. That sounds like a fairly good description of like the kind of thing that happens to me sometimes. I have this weird thing like where if I sleep for depending on how long I sleep, if I sleep for a very long time, my dreams become more repetitive and they devolve into nightmares. Like I'll start repeating the same sequence of events over and over again in my dream, but it will develop a sinister element or a threat of some type. If I sleep like close to like the 9-hour mark, then that tends to happen to me. I usually don't sleep for that long. But when I do, things become really like bad in dreamland. Same if I sleep too much. The last bout of sleep usually results in a nightmare. Yep. And there are times where I know that's going to happen, where like I wake up to use the restroom or something, and then I'm telling myself like the whole time I should not go back and lay down. It will just be bad, and then I do, and it is. It's usually by hour 10 or 11. Yeah, it's around hour 9 to me for me. Between hour 8 and 9, I think, is when it starts to happen. I usually only sleep for about 7 hours, like for my main sleep of the day, but I usually take a nap at some point. All right, so enough chin wagging for the moment. I think. Oh wait, no. I actually had one yesterday. Won't go into detail because it's rather disturbing, but let's just say it involves zombies. All right. Well, speaking of zombies, yes, we're gonna fight some monsters. We're gonna switch over to the Nintendo 64. We're gonna play Doom 64 for the rest of the stream. That'd be about an hour and change. Hopefully, we were struggling with a level last night for a very long time. Hopefully, we'll make some progress. It'd be nice to beat one level. That's usually the progress I make in this game, is I beat one level at a time. So let's hope it happens again tonight. This is a mature rated game, so if that type of content is not for you, you have been notified. I'll turn on the warning as well. And yeah, we'll get switched over. Sparrow has to bounce. He's way too immature. All right, so we're gonna get switched over. I'll see you again in just a moment, my friends.